5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. This is a podcast. Yes, yay indeed, Julia.
Yes.
This is a podcast from my co-host and I. Yay indeed, Gnome.
Yippee.
So enthusiastic.
Yeah. Glad you're excited.
I'm so excited.
As are all of us. This is a podcast where my co-host and guest listen to all the craft beer podcasts and watch all the YouTube content and whatever is going on in the media from the previous week. And we get together at a podcast host and we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park.
God, jeez.
It's been so long. Anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for being a gracious podcast host. If you
Thank you.
If you're looking to get into podcast form, Higher Gravity is very generous in the fact that they, as long as you're not competing with other people for space, set up and do it. And so thank you, Higher Gravity.
You also have to wear pants. I learned that the last time I was on the show.
I heard about that.
That's why I haven't been back here for so long, because
heard about that. Yeah.
Pants.
Pants.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They don't have it posted on the door, for the record.
Well, by the way,
it
you're
says like
right.
no shirt, no shoes. It doesn't say anything.
I don't think it
pants.
does.
No.
I don't think it's there at all.
It doesn't.
It
doesn't actually.
Yeah.
No. And they're a sort of a breakfast spot because they have coffee.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't wearing pants. I don't sleep with pants on.
Did you have fuzzy slippers?
No, I don't wear slippers when I'm asleep.
Slides?
No, but like when you get out of bed and are just like shuffling around the house, you
I
don't
don't shuffle. I come straight to Higher Gravity.
Okay.
I literally leap out the window.
So what's on your feet?
Tuck and roll. Nothing. Just what I was sleeping in. Yeah.
Oh man,
Like
I
Winnie
can't
the
do
Pooh.
that. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being a gracious podcast host. Now, I'm Marco. I'm a taproom manager locally. I brewed beer for several years. I know some of the things that some of the brewers are talking about. I don't know everything. What we have is a podcast that talks about Cincinnati Craft Beer Podcast. Hopefully, there aren't too many podsequences from the hosts of the other podcasts. One of the voices you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia, and that is Julia. Julia, talk about yourself for a minute.
I'm Julia. I drink all the craft beverages in the Cincinnati area. I'm going to say beverages and not just craft beer. I enjoy Dick's potato chips. There's nothing better than eating a bag. And
Love Dick's.
Love Dick's.
My new goal in life is to be on the Pro Padel League that we watched while we were waiting to start recording. The Padel League.
Don't know what that means.
Yeah, that was really fun. What I also would say at this moment is that Julia is being very bashful. Julia has for almost 3 years been, and beyond that, before that, Julia has done amazing work with doing parodies for beer vent calendars, and after she had done that for a while, come to Truth Beer Pod, we created this podcast and are talking about not only Cincy Beer Events, which follows Cincy Beer Events, but this podcast, Truth Beer and Podsequences. But Julia's been a voice in Cincinnati craft beer for almost 4 years, and beyond. If you want to take it personally to your own, platforms, Julia is hosting a women in beer panel at, is it Woodburn Brewing?
Yes, sir.
And what day is that?
October the 7th. It's a Monday from 7 to 9.
From 7 to 9. And I am so excited about this panel because Julia is going to be hosting it, and there are going to be some amazing women on this panel. Now, everybody in Cincinnati craft beer should want to get out and support and go and view and be in audience, and if you're a woman in Cincinnati craft beer, who do they email to be involved?
Just truthbeerpod@gmail.com.
And then, get to Woodburn for that day, which is a Cincy Beer Week event.
Yes.
So, not only do we love what you've been doing and what you are doing, but this is in conjunction with Cincy Beer Week.
Absolutely.
So, Nick's like, should we turn the music up?
No, I just
I
checked.
said,
It's at 80 decibels.
Yes.
yes.
So Julia,
I think that's a podsequence, guys.
I was just going to say, I think it's happening.
possible. So Julia, I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about you hosting. I'm excited to have the panel happen. This is really cool for
I agree.
Woodburn as well. And
It's awesome for Cincy Beer Week since it's finally coming back. After decades of being gone. That's a slight exaggeration, but
Technically,
not quite.
it is a different event than the previous Cincinnati Beer Week, just to be clear.
That's fair. Yeah.
Just to prevent anybody from getting their brewer's boots in a knot.
knickers and a twist.
Yeah, different event.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's better. It's just better.
same thing is better.
With that being said, we have a third voice.
Third
we get-
voice.
We're already in the weeds. I mean,
Pete Townsend?
No,
Yes.
well, we have.
Well, Pete is
Roger
also in
Daltrey?
the.
Well, we have the gnarly gnome. He's been a reoccurring guest, and so we have
He's
the
part
gnarly
of the
gnome.
team.
And thank you, gnome, for being back.
Back.
And all the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, except including full-time, part-time jobs, higher gravity. If you want to get at us, Truth Bear Pod, you'll find out at the end of the pod, or I just told you if you just put
.com on the end of that, yeah.
at the end of that.
Okay.
However, the gnome can speak for whoever he wants.
Yeah, I do not speak for myself at all.
Oh.
Everything I say, I'm speaking for every brewery in the world that makes a hazy Oktoberfest. All of
Yeah.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And I believe there are far too many of them.
Far too many. You guys know who you are. Some of you I've let slide because of your reasoning for it, but others not letting you slide.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say I'm wearing a Dick's potato chips.
I'm wearing my
t-shirt
dick.
today.
No, I'm not. Well, I am, but
I had.
And you look fantastic.
I had. Thank you. I had a delivery of
did.
large dicks to my house
You did.
today.
Yes.
Shout out to Dick's Potato Chips. I had a delivery of large.
I love when I open my door and there's dicks
Dicks
all
just
over
right
the
there on
porch.
the porch. Oh my
love
God.
So, to everyone listening out there, we love Jason.
Oh, absolutely.
He a friend of the show,
Friend of ours, just
friend of ours.
absolutely.
Period.
Yeah.
Period. And go out there, go to Dick's Potato Chips website, and you can get like 18 potato chip bags.
I thought you were going to say 18 potato chips.
18 potato chip
You can get
bags.
like 9 chips.
And you can get them shipped for free.
Yep.
If you order $15 or more.
Which is like 6 bags, I think.
Yeah,
I think you
and
said,
everybody within the scope of our voice, go to the website and order your giant box of dicks. Also want to shout out Matthew from Line and Tap.
Line and
If
Tap,
you have lines,
absolutely.
if you have taps, you need Matthew from Line and Tap. Thank you, Matthew, for the contribution that you made recently.
If you're tapping something, you got to keep it clean.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so are we ready to talk about what we saw, witnessed,
Almost.
viewed, and all that? What?
Almost. Gnome, what you drinking?
Oh.
Yes, drinking.
I don't remember the name of it. This is that Third Eye Black Walnut beer.
Oh,
Higher or something.
Higher sight? No.
seeing
yes,
higher, seeing
This is
high.
2 shows in a row where you didn't know what you were drinking.
I can't see the tap list from here.
It's true.
I know that it's a black walnut brown ale.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite beers that is that I've had in a very long time. Ever since the first time I tried it, I just absolutely fell in love with it. I don't think I've ever tasted a beer that tastes like walnuts in the same way that this one does.
Marco, what
Thank
you
you for
drinking?
asking. West Side, Ekuanot.
Yeah, single hop Ekuanot. Yep.
Single hop Ekuanot. Julia.
I did something that no one asked Nick to do during the Higher Gravity Northside 7th anniversary party.
That's right. Yes. So for everyone listening here, what did I ask you to do?
Check the show notes.
I asked
And
you
check
to
the website.
ask Nick to make a fucking Negroni.
Yes,
And
and
who
no one
did? Nobody.
No one.
Because how do I know that? I asked Nick. And Nick said nobody.
Nobody.
And then
including
Julia
me,
said,
because I didn't.
well, that wasn't
I got
to
beer
you.
instead.
That was to the audience. But
So I rectified the situation, and I said, Nick,
we like
make me a
a
Negroni.
How is it?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Nick makes a good Negroni.
Hell yeah.
It is fantastic. All right, we have 3 to talk about today. We have the most recent episode of Bruce Guy's Booze News Barstool Perspective. I think it's just Barstool Perspective now.
The lawyer
is what they've been doing.
episode.
Absolutely. We have All Things Gnome. We have an episode of Cincy Brewcast with Listermann, and we have the Weekly Pint.
I remember that one too.
Yep.
I'm glad you remember.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that long.
You remember.
And you didn't drink
That's
that
good.
much?
Well, I didn't.
As the sip
I
your
don't
Technically,
know.
I didn't listen to either one of them, though.
I don't know how much he drank, but he was there.
We have the numbers.
Oh,
I
well,
have the numbers.
during the
Someone
pods.
has the numbers. True.
Yeah.
True that.
Let's go.
What do we want to start with?
Oh, we got to start with the
Oldest to newest?
well, we got to start with the lawyers, right?
Okay. All
Get
right.
them out of the
Always
way.
get them out of the way.
Yeah, this is true. Barstool Perspective from August 23rd, 2024, which I called Mike is Dead, Long Live Brad.
Yeah.
Because apparently there was no Mike. There was no Brett. Well, there kind of was a Brett-ish,
Yeah.
and a Brad.
If you said I need to make a AI clone of Brett, but I need Brett and Myces inflicted or injected into it, might look like Michael D. Morgan.
There was also a Brett in the chat. If you
There was a
tuned in
Brett
live.
in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Which I do think it's interesting. Some of their shows, if you rewatch them, have the live chat enabled to where you can see what has been said during the live broadcast, and other episodes do not.
I think it depends what we say.
That's probably a very it's probably a very very good point. There was a Brett in the chat, which was pretty good. It actually made the timing of the comments and the responses work a little better than when Brett is in front of the camera, because he can actually pay attention to the chat.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to him coming back whenever
In
he
theory,
is able. Yeah.
in theory, there should. Anytime you're doing a live stream, I think there should be some kind of producer that's in the chat that is
answering back, right?
answering what they
Agree.
can, saying
Agree.
I'll pass that one on, and you know,
Sure,
like just somebody
sure.
that kind of keeps it all in order.
But I think that producer Dan has been doing a great job of
Oh, yeah.
doing just that. He's getting more and more involved with the chat. The first few were just kind of, hey, cool, thanks for stopping in. Oh, thanks for watching. And now there is a little more of that kind of back and forth. They started off by saying Urban Artifact is trying to save Pennsylvania 96 ounces of beer at a time.
That was so. Anybody who's followed beer news understands that this talked about lawsuit came up, and now we have 2 attorneys on the podcast. They gave their views on how the outcome would come, and it's interesting that the one attorney that's actively working with the breweries and restaurants and all of that said,
Which I guess we should do somewhat of an introduction. Brad Thomas, he practices alcohol distribution law.
yes,
Yes.
Brad Thomas.
I practice alcohol distribution drinking.
As do I.
Got a lot in common.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he says beer and wine, basically same. What I would say is not the same. You can distribute wine almost throughout the entire country and not beer.
Right.
However, where they're coming at it from a law perspective is that it's a state-specific situation where you can come like in-state and out-of-state beer distribution is in different quantities. That seems like a what do they call it? A
double standard.
Yeah.
It's a
bullshit.
It's a bullshit.
Yeah, it's a bullshit. Yeah,
it's a bullshit.
Yeah. I believe that is the actual legal term.
The legal person, other than Michael D. Morgan, says that, yeah, I think this is going to go Urban Artifacts' way. Mm-hmm. And I hope it does.
Sure.
And we'll see. Now, they're gambling on, Supreme Courts. However, there's been precedences in other states where you would just be ignoring the fact that was going on if you didn't rule in Urban Artifacts' favor.
Right. There was a lot of legalese in this segment, in this particular news piece, but I did appreciate that they ended talking about distribution and beer and all that by pouring one out for Four Loko.
Yes.
Rip to the original king of...
We do that every morning.
Getting completely trashed off of God knows what. But yeah.
Shout out to my buddy Four Loko.
I can't believe...
When you need to wake up and get drunk.
Absolutely.
I can't believe how long it's been.
For any youngins that are listening to this right now, yes, you can go to the store and you can find a product that says it is Four Loko.
It is not the original.
It's not. It's not.
No.
It's not. And this lawyer, this attorney, was part of the original.
Yeah.
Full strength. Just feel it in your plums Four Loko.
No, you didn't feel anything. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Zombie, man.
Yes,
She's not even there.
Right.
It was the Four Localypse.
Pass out, and then the caffeine just keeps your body moving.
Yeah.
Like doom.
Yeah. Hop cultivation. Apparently, it's down 18% this year. And that's something that I wish I would have known about a week ago when I met up with Dave from Ohio Valley Hops to ask him about, have you noticed anything with your production levels? But
I would want his opinion because for me, hop cultivation, I don't know if that has anything to do with how many people are buying them. Like, if you grow them, you have to pick them.
Sure, right. So when they're saying that, is it buying is down to where
I think
they're not?
It's buying.
Okay.
I personally think, not to cut you off, Julia.
No, you're fine.
But if you grow them, if you want to maintain their health, I think you have to pick them and then grow them again.
But it's a matter of when you pick them, is there someone lined up to buy them?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, a lot of these... the big question is, whose hop cultivation is down? Is it the guys like Dave and Nina? Is it some big old giant massive factory farm out on the West Coast? Who's the ones that are seeing this shrinkage?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
that's a dick joke.
And that was in the same way that sometimes we'll hear about beer being down, and then you'll go to your neighborhood brewery and they're like, no man, we we're up 30% from what we were last year. We're making way more beer than we made last year. We're not down. The industry is down. Who is it?
Exactly.
Who are the ones that are down? I think that's the thing that everybody keeps ignoring.
And I think that whoever's supplying hops, which is their own hop farms, to the big beer brands that were AB InBev, those are probably down.
Yeah, and those are contracted out years in advance and all kinds of other crap that goes along with that.
And I don't doubt that Citra and probably Mosaic are probably down, but
it kind of goes back to our conversation last week about studies. Who is doing the study and who are they studying to get whatever these results are that they're sharing out into the world?
You can, if you are a certain type of journalist, you can take any story that you want and make it into whatever you want it to be.
Sure, absolutely.
Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Maybe.
Yes, maybe we will.
But I agree. Craft beer's not dying, so we still need new, sexy hops. We still need old, noble hops. we still need all of those.
Mm-hmm.
And in the percentages of growth and with everybody that's out there, hop cultivation, when you say hop cultivation is down, I don't know what that means, because they have to cultivate what they grow.
Right. Moving on to 7-Eleven in Canada, or going back to 7-Elevens in Canada.
Back.
They have...
Which, for the record, 7-Eleven owns Speedway. We have Speedway here,
yes,
not 7-Eleven.
They have some even weirder stuff going on than trying to get liquor licenses.
7-Eleven in Canada was trying to flip or turn all these locations into locations that you would be able to have alcohol at. I don't hate that.
How many times have you walked into a convenience store and there's somebody sitting on the curb drinking a beer?
Sure.
People already do that at convenience stores. That's not a strange thing in America. Everybody's got a can of beer stuck in a bag, and they're sitting there drinking it, eating their roller dog.
Sure.
Do it inside in a comfortable seat.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. If I could go in there and have my roller dog and my
and a great pint of beer. Yeah.
great pint of beer, or bucket. I want a just
Four Loko.
Loko or
original.
You know what?
You don't have any cans of those still in your cooler, back in the back of the fridge or something? Yeah.
Again, we talked about it last episode. I don't have a problem with my Canada's 7-Elevens turning into sort of a
I don't call it a catch-all, but yeah,
a bigger stop shop for your snacks and boozes and to-goes and whatever.
I am a firm believer that any place that I go to and I can consume some kind of food, I should also be able to get a beer. It's my God-given American right.
Yeah.
Well, but we're talking about Canada, so...
Well, anywhere.
No, I know what you're saying.
So what are you drinking at IHOP?
At IHOP?
Ooh.
It depends what I'm eating. So IHOP's a tough one because it's a very, very wide menu. Am I going breakfast? Am I getting a burger?
So let's
There's steak on the menu.
Let's change it.
There's not alcohol.
We'll make this a little easier. Waffle House. If they had alcohol there,
yeah.
if they had alcohol there, what are you getting to drink with your Waffle House order?
Light and crispy. So I need the crispiest beer possible to cut through all of that other stuff.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. They went into some more fuck Kroger news, but fuck Kroger. We're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to say Aldi has really good dips, which they did talk about for quite a bit.
Dips.
Yes.
Okay.
The dip.
Yes. The dip. Boston beer stock is down thanks to Mike.
Yeah.
Mike bought some stock. Mike talked about stock, and they
anybody who heard them talk about stock advice should have known to sell whatever they had right then.
100%. Yes. So thank you, Mike, for tanking Cincinnati craft beer.
It's not.
No.
It's at least. I think it's held steady since they first started talking about it.
Well, we
It's
hope.
about the same.
We hope. That's what we hope.
True. They talked about the Monkey Bar in Morrow.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
That came up in a
Yes.
conversation that I was having. I think it was Monday, and I was like, it was an actual monkey.
Yeah.
And it smoked cigarettes. And
they had
by the way,
cage outside where it had the little like.
and I was like,
underneath
and
it.
by the way, Jane Goodall visited the monkey.
They did eventually try to get people to stop giving the monkey cigarettes, but it didn't work.
It didn't, yeah.
I'm trying to find my notes on the Monkey Bar. I love this place.
Was that one of the bars that you put up for August? Yeah, I was going to say. I know that I read
didn't do it this
recently.
month. It's been a long time.
The Monkey
since I
Bar
read with them.
has gone through an amazing transformation.
Holy crap! Yes.
Like,
And literally a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Several times. They've got a great beer selection there. They have good food. Like it is a really great bar.
The location is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, huge patio.
I mean, my God.
I've got some details on the monkey.
Yes.
Let's see. In 1985, the owner of the Monkey Bar purchased a chimpanzee named Sam. He was actually kind of saving him from a carnival that went bankrupt. There were two monkeys, Sam and Rudy, that were performing in the carnival, and the owner of the Monkey Bar saved Sam and brought him and built him this fun little this fun little place in Boone County, Kentucky. Was where the carnival was.
What happened to Rudy?
I think there's details.
Okay. Hopefully they're okay, because I don't want to cry.
They
Don't break my heart here.
For a while, the duo lived in the bed of a pickup truck where they would entertain people from the pickup truck. People would pay them and started feeding them candy and soda and things like that in this pickup truck. Eventually, Sam was sold to the owner of the little... You know when you're in Loveland and you go under the bridge and there's that little canoe place there?
Yeah.
He was eventually sold to those people.
Okay.
And he hung out by the bike trail there, which is where I first started hearing my stories as a kid.
Is that where the cage was? Or because the cage was actually outside the monkey bar, right?
Yes, this is before the monkey bar.
Okay.
He was hanging out by the canoe place.
Because I was trying to remember where the cage was, because that's what I remember.
That, I believe, is where he started smoking cigarettes, was when he was at the canoe place.
Gotcha.
He was then sold again to the owner of the monkey bar because he bit someone. He got angry about something and he bit the owner of the canoe place.
At least he didn't rip their face off.
Sent him to the bar. The reason he went to the bar is because they had this really cool spot in the foundation after they had rebuilt it and all this stuff. There was this cool little spot, and that became his little home. And then, of course, drunk people at the bar, as drunk people at bars will do, would give him more cigarettes because he would make these little hand gestures that he would tell people that he wanted a cigarette or he'd want something to drink. They would get it for him. He loved grape soda. And
this monkey can make a cigarette gesture or a drink gesture. I mean,
and people listen to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when they built when the bike trail started to go in past the monkey bar there, which was not called the monkey bar at the time, it caught people's attention that there was this monkey that lived there. and eventually some of the animal welfare people got involved, and there was a huge trial, a big, massive trial that had people that believed both sides, that thought that he was really happy living there. Some people said, no, it's a monkey that's hanging out smoking and drinking. This is not good for a monkey.
I mean, not wrong, but I mean, if he's...
Before the trial, they relocated him to a temporary home, and they renovated his little place that he lived and made it nicer. They gave him a TV, a radio,
there was a TV
refrigerator. He had a nice,
I remember there was a TV
spot
down there, yeah.
The Department of Agriculture approved it and said, yep, he can live here. And Sam came back during the trial. In the end, the owner was acquitted, and he went back home. The Humane Society, though, was not happy with it. They filed a lawsuit to get custody. The case was eventually dropped. But in 1997, when the township announced plans to turn what used to be the monkey's playground, because he had a little playground there, when they said that they were taking that and turning it into restrooms, the owner decided this can't keep going. They're taking his space and all this stuff, and he removed the chimp that was 25 years old at that time, and nobody knows where the chimp actually went. He sent him somewhere to go live the rest of his life. And this was 97. This was not that long ago.
Yeah.
And so I assume that Sam the chimp is still living somewhere.
Yeah, very happily.
Smoking and drinking his
his feet propped
his elder
up
years
on
away.
Like watching TV. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. I love the story. I think that Sam was a happy chimp, and I like to think that he is still living the same life.
A happy life. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had one more note, and then multiple choice question and sip count.
Okay.
For this episode.
Let's go.
This is New Jersey based, and I see an empty glass there, so we will take a break after this. Is restricting THC beverages to only liquor stores a good idea or a bad idea? And again, this is something that is being...
It'll ruin the Jersey Shore, that's for sure.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah. Don't love it.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a little restrictive. I think that it...
I get it.
I get it, right.
Makes sense.
I get it, but I don't know that I agree with it. So I'm glad it's not something that is coming up here in Cincinnati or Ohio yet. Right. I don't know. I can kind of see both sides of it, but I don't have enough information on what that actually means to really have a solid... this is good. No.
I'm a firm believer that there should be a permit to sell any intoxicating beverage.
Sure.
There should be a permit.
I agree.
I'm fine with that.
I agree with that. All right, multiple choice time. What is Ohio's best winery? Is it A, Vincolette? Is it B, Meyer, there's no S. Is it C, a tie between 7 Mile and Valley Vineyards?
Julia's a D.
Jesus Christ.
The Northwood Cidery.
Ooh.
Oh, changing things. Did you not know cideries have to be labeled as wineries? But yeah. But now, how about that, Julia?
All right, sip count time.
Let's go.
Brad took a total of 15 sips in this episode.
Okay, good.
Mike took 31.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Got a lot going on.
There was a lot going
Brad
on.
didn't get the memo.
No, absolutely not. That is a total of 46 countables, which is 92 ounces.
Okay.
5.75 pints in this roughly 30-minute episode.
Okay. Very good.
Very nice.
Respectable.
All right.
Very nice. Take a quick break and then come back for all things Gnome.
That's right. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
See ya.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah,
What part of the fish does the fish log come from?
I think you know.
His legs.
Yep. I mean, it's the longest part of the fish.
Hey now.
Yeah. Are we wrong?
Depends on
No.
the fish.
Yeah.
No.
It does kind of depend on the fish, but I feel like
Oh, he's got big fins.
Yeah.
right. Oh, jeez. Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly. Do we want to talk about Cincy Brewcast or the Weekly Pint?
Cincy Brewcast.
Cincy
course,
Brewcast.
yeah.
All right. Volume 10, Episode 11, Listermann's Next Chapter.
Yeah.
This was fantastic. This is an episode that I think a lot of people that have been
Been trying to book it for a year.
right, and a lot of people that are very interested in the Cincinnati craft beer scene have been looking to hear for over a year. This was with Terry Ibsen and Peyton Smith, co-owner. Doesn't she own it with
Yeah,
her
with her
husband?
husband,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And Peyton is the head brewer at Listermann, and he has a very interesting tie to Sonder Brewing, which you went, oh. Now I see the
I
resemblance.
knew that too. Like I'd heard that, and
But it just didn't kind of
slipped right out of my mind. I have a
So-
terrible memory.
Peyton Smith and Austin Smith are head brewers. Peyton at Listermann, Austin at Sonder.
Yeah.
Peyton is definitely the nicer of the two.
Oh.
So nice.
Oh, my
Austin
God.
is such a
Wow.
jerk.
Wow, shots fired.
Well, I was just going to say. Okay, didn't
It's a
realize
joke,
we were
guys.
going-
Good dude.
I did not know that Peyton had gone on this journey to Siebel Institute, to Combustion Brewing.
Which,
to,
man, that was a fantastic stuff.
My
that was
God,
wonderful.
Combustion's awesome. Really love Combustion. So Peyton not only educated, accomplished in his journey, accomplished as well, not just in the places that he's worked, but in the certification program. So very, very happy for Peyton.
But he has also been in very different types of breweries and
Yeah.
seen these different sides of
For real.
brewing and
Yes.
the different sides of the process and the different types of systems. And so coming into something like Listermann, I think he is very well equipped to handle what that place will throw at you, because it's an interesting place.
Yeah, so I mean, it started as a place that somebody who manufactured things created. So they manufactured things there, and so it was, we would call it cobbled together.
Sure.
But it was cobbled together, and so he's somebody who's coming in from systems that have been that way in the past, and he's learning those systems and dialing in, honing in on those cobbled together systems. So, yeah.
Yeah. So kind of moving back a couple steps, because this was kind of jumping forward in the actual interview a bit. The Ibsens had been planning their own. They kept saying their own project, or Terry was saying their own. I'm assuming they were planning to try to open their own brewery, and that had been something in the works for around 10 or so years, if not more. And then the opportunity came around to purchase Listermann, as Dan and his wife were retiring, and they said, "How can we turn down an opportunity to come into something that's not only already established, but a place that they enjoyed personally
It was a place
as
that was
well."
special to them.
Yeah,
Yes.
they had a emotional connection to Listermann.
Right. And one of the first questions that was kind of posed that she answered was, "We're not changing anything. Everything's working. We don't want to. It's kind of the whole "don't fix what's not broken" aspect. Now,
we're not changing anything except the things we're changing.
Well, true.
Yeah.
True, but I don't feel that it, at least from the conversation and what I've seen so far, it's not like all of a sudden Listermann is a completely different brewery than it was. Everything is always going to change, even with Dan still being in place as new taproom managers and brewers come in and out of the business. Things do change, they do evolve, but I feel that the kind of core of Listermann, at least for now, is still pretty. I'm
still
stationary.
Still fascinated by it because you have to change some things.
Sure,
you have to put your own spin on it. You have to turn it into your place. How do you pick and choose the things that you do change, the things that you poke just a little bit, and the things that you don't touch at all? How do you figure
balance
out how do you figure out what that is?
Right, and that was a lot of fun listening to her talk about going. It's not an easy thing trying to figure out, because I did get the impression that as much as she wants it to stay the place she remembers from that personal connection, there's also that bit of, but I want to make sure that I'm doing what I want to do with the brewery. And I think the food program is kind of a very
food program's a great example of it.
Right.
Even for the entire history of Listermann, it's been a very, very Cincinnati-focused brand. We don't distribute beer outside of Cincinnati except for rare occasions, and that's kind of shifting now. And they're like, you know what, we're going to send our beer all through Ohio. Like that's
right.
We think that the brand holds just as strong up in wherever as it does down here, and they deserve to be pouring more of that beer.
Sure.
So there are these very distinct changes that you see. Not that they're bad, but it is
right.
a shift. It is a change.
Kind of touching slightly on that, Listermann being a destination brewery and or a neighborhood brewery.
Yeah.
I really like that, because I think for someone who's been in Cincinnati my whole life, someone who has always known about Listermann, to me it's that neighborhood brewery. It's just that place that just is always here. But
I disagree 100%.
But you were 100% spot on when you said when you see these posts in these beer groups about I'm visiting from out of town, or I have family friends, someone coming in, where do I need to take them? Listermann is always top of those lists. It is a destination. It is somewhere that you have to go to if you're in town and you want to experience Cincinnati beer culture for even a very small amount of time.
And you couple it up with the only homebrew store in the city of Cincinnati.
Correct.
Even that in itself makes a destination out of it.
True.
That people are coming
That's
there
true.
to get their supplies because there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that Listermann is a destination brewery. It's not a neighborhood brewery, even if there are people from the neighborhood that go there and drink. It's my stance.
I can see that, but I mean, again, just kind of the, respectfully disagree to an extent. I think it's both.
I actually agree with Gnome.
Okay.
And I did not get my homebrew ingredients from Listermann, but so many of the people that when I was getting into the industry, they did, and they got their stuff and they got their information and tips and tricks, or homebrew club or whatever it is. There were so many people that were coming on board when I was wanting to get into the scene. So many people that were coming on board that Listermann was not only a big part of their homebrew life, but a big part of the, hey, we're doing this, we're blazing this trail to be able to go commercial.
Yeah. What do we need to do?
They were looking at Listermann as to how can we do this, or what are the tips, and what's the information you can give us. And so this future of homebrewers who are at least passionate craft beer drinkers, and possibly people who want to get in industry later, maybe Listermann can cultivate that again.
Right.
And because I think that's a large part of their identity, where Dan Listermann would manufacture homebrew equipment. He would be a resource for people in this area that wanted to go pro, and
I think that was the biggest thing, is that you would go into Listermann and there was somebody there that you could talk to. There was somebody that either somebody that was shopping that was also, home brewer, been brewing for a long time, and you can just start to shoot the shit and be like, hey, last batch was doing this. Like, what do you think? And people would start, I have that. Here's what I think. And then the whole group would then start in a conversation, and then somebody would walk in and had some kind of crazy idea that they were working on, and everybody would kind of contribute to it. That community aspect was so important to homebrewers. And you can talk online on message boards or whatever, but it isn't the same.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. Yeah,
to take a very long point to cut it short. That's my point.
All right. I love the part of the conversation. What is Listermann? To some people, it is a place where you get these big barrel-aged pastry stouts. To other people, it's the hazy IPA spot. It's all of these things. It can be so many different things. Or it's just a homebrew store. Right, exactly. It can be so many different things to so many different people, depending on what they're going there for. And none of it's right, none of it's wrong. I don't say none of it's right, none of it's wrong. But when people start saying, no, it's not really the spot for barrel-aged beers anymore, now it's a spot for hazy. It's like, well, no, they're still putting out a ton of really solid barrel-aged beers. There's pastry stouts. Yeah, but I don't drink those, so that's not my spot for that. Well, that's fine. You can go there and get your IPA. Someone else can go there and get their kind of traditional lager. Someone else can go there and get their dark, heavy beers.
It seems hard for some people to accept that, though.
I think that's because
people want it to all be just their stuff.
Sure. But I think that for a period of time, sometimes it did seem like Listermann was a very heavily focused hazy IPA, New England IPA.
They were.
Brewery.
Yeah.
And then they would go through that for a few months, release a whole bunch of stuff, and then it would transition to now we're doing a whole bunch of barrel-aged beers or really heavy pastry stouts. And then, that's kind of their focus.
And then
for
a few months later, all they put out were Pilsners.
Right.
And that would happen.
Sure.
But I think now, and for all of us that have been on this journey, we have seen that. For college kids that go in and out over a 4-year, 5-year turnaround, they have seen a lot of change in Listermann. For people that are incoming freshmen or anything, they don't know anything about this history.
Right.
They don't care. They want to know, where's the place I want to go? Where's the place I want to hang out? For all of us, old heads that care about all that,
all that history
and
all
everything.
That
history and all
that good stuff.
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I think we can reminisce about all that, and we can sink into and lean into what Listermann is today. But it's not dead. It's not dying. There's plenty of new drinkers to support everything that they're doing, and I think that's the same thing for a lot of different places. That for people who thought places were one way 8 years ago, it's totally different and changed over the past 8 years. And so I think Listermann may be suffering from a lack of possibly the elders or the old heads or the people that used to line up and need to have something on a Tuesday morning that they were releasing. Those people may not be showing up in droves on a Tuesday morning.
Right.
But they're still out there. They may come occasionally. But the new drinkers are always refreshing. And
they're kind of cycling in.
They're kind of cycling in.
Yeah.
The new people that are coming into college, they're just finding out about it. And hopefully there's something that draws something to them, as well as other places in the area, because there's a lot of other places in the area.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned their 16th anniversary, because that celebration is happening September the 7th. So very, very soon, they're going to have flights of different kinds of IPAs and barrel-aged beers, and they're bringing back just some of their anniversary beer. It's going to be an amazing new dark, heavy.
They're going to have a whole flight of anniversary beers.
Right. They're going to make sure that even if this is your first time in or you're just discovering Listermann, you can kind of taste that history via a flight. They want to try to make sure that it's available to as many people as possible.
And it's not a ticketed event.
No, and it's not ticketed.
I hated
Anyone
those ticketed
can show
anniversary parties.
The new food kitchen, food kitchen's kind of redundant. The new kitchen will be open. That's actually opening a few days from now on September the 3rd, so it'll be open just shortly after this post.
It's technically open now.
No, that's true, but I guess that's their more official launch thing.
The actual menu isn't active yet.
Gotcha. That is going to be fantastic. They talked about a bunch of the upcoming events that they have. The one that I can't wait for, Vets and Brews. Love Vets and Brews. 2 buses this year, and you called out Matt Damaris.
Yeah, that's what I do.
You said you need to be on one of those buses. So,
we will see. It's been a year. I totally forgot. Matt wasn't on the bus last year.
He had a vacation already scheduled. In the
cardboard cutout of him on the bus.
I love that. That was fantastic. That was great.
We love Vets and Brews, and of course, friend of the pod, Matt Damaris. Shout out to Matt Damaris. I want this year's event to be amazing because what he is doing and how he is spreading Vets and Brews is amazing. Vets and Brews is all the way out to Asheville, North Carolina, and I love that he is being able to spread the message of Vets and Brews, which is quite simple. We love our veterans.
Beer,
We love our veterans, and let's donate to buy our veterans a beer.
Right.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
Absolutely
awesome.
You kind of closed out the interview with bringing back one of the questions that you have not asked in a very long time. What is your measure of success? Which is always fun because it should be an ever-evolving answer.
It is.
So your measure of success today, if you ask them again in a week, in a year, it should have evolved, at least to some extent.
I think
to some extent, yeah.
I think the question's great. I think the answers are, unfortunately,
that's where I get hung up.
Unfortunately, pocket answers or superficial or just not long-sighted. And I get it, especially for, Peyton's been with them for about a year, if I'm not mistaken, and they have owned Listermann almost a year.
I think it's a little over a year.
A little over a year.
Close.
So I get the answers, but I still think you're looking for deeper ones than that.
I'm thinking maybe if I just keep asking it, eventually people will start thinking about it before they're on the show.
Yeah.
Start anticipating it.
This is assuming that they listen to your show.
That's true. That's true.
It's very much
I listen to my episodes. I don't listen to anything.
It's very much like, and this is very inside baseball. It's very much like when John Hall would ask the green door question. And we know what that question is. But a lot of people outside of this podcast don't. And you can, if you want to know what's going on in beer, you can go follow John Hall and all his beer writing.
And I encourage anybody to go buy the book Think Beer, Drink Beer. It's one of my favorite beer books ever written. I love it.
And also by Tanked Cincinnati. That is another phenomenal beer book.
Phenomenal book.
Yeah,
phenomenal book. Julia, are we going to come out with a book?
Eventually, I'm sure. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Are you ready for a multiple choice question?
I am.
All right. What will not be part of Listermann's kitchen? Is it A, fryers, B, pizza ovens, or C, dry ice?
Julia's a D.
Oh, God. You did get a big delivery, didn't you?
Moved my microphone.
We don't have any sous vide equipment.
That's they may
no
be
sous vide.
No sous vide stuff. That's fair. Sip count time. This is so the changing of the camera angles for, if you watch the video of this episode of Cincy Brewcast on YouTube, which you should absolutely be doing. This is when I could tell if you just picked up the glass. Didn't count. It has to actually appear that you are taking a drink from it, because there were a couple times where a glass would get picked up and then you start a conversation, you set it down, you don't take a sip. So I was able to count 20 sips in this episode. So 40 ounces per our drinking game.
It's difficult because usually when you're sipping, you're not talking, which means the camera's not switching to you.
Right, exactly.
Hopefully switching to somebody else.
So that is 2.5 pints in this slightly over 1 hour episode. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, I need to take a quick break, and then we will talk about the weekly pint and wrap up the show.
Okay.
All right.
So, all right. Hang tight with us, guys. We will be right
back.
Longest break ever. But we are back.
Back.
And I just finished my Negroni. I'm not going to have another one before while we finish the third and final podcast. Or actually, well, it will be a podcast eventually.
It is today. Yeah,
it is today? Oh, perfect. This is the weekly pint, but before we get into that, Marco, Gnome, you both have new beverages in front of you. Marco, what you drinking?
It's still the West Coast Ekuanot from West Side.
Excellent.
I went completely off my normal track, and I went with an Oberon, the Bell's Oberon.
Nice. When was the last time you had one of those?
I've definitely had one this year.
Okay.
But
I have not.
Probably just one.
All right. Have you had it yet to see if it
no,
still is?
No, Let me see here.
All right, let's.
It looks good. It's a little more clear than I expect it to be.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Good and fizzy.
Definitely smells a little orangey, a little fruity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good.
Okay, let me get my face in here and see what it tastes like.
Yeah, get your face up in it. That's good.
One sip.
Yeah, slurp.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Awesome.
It's not the best like wheat beer in the world,
but it's a fine.
It's kind of like a weird like hybrid American wheat ale something or other with a bunch of fake tasting fruit in it. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
Well,
all right.
It's not at all what I remember like from my early days of drinking when you would get an Oberon.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way a lot of those have gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it actually the beer changing? Is it me changing? I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, I think it's both. But anyway.
Speaking of beer changing over time, episode 226, I guess that was False Fall, y'all. Yeah.
Hot again.
That's bullshit.
We had some beautiful days.
Some beautiful days.
And then Satan decided, nope, I'm coming back.
Yeah, so I saw
Come sit in my butthole.
I saw a news report, and I told my family as we were driving up here, I said, hey, by the way, I saw a news report that today and tomorrow are going to be the hottest days in the past 10 years.
12, I think. 12 years.
And
ridiculous.
And one of my kids went, no, that's a lie. And I said, okay, could be. And like, no.
Prove me wrong.
That's a lie. And I said, all right, might be.
Fake news.
Oh, God.
Might be.
I got in my car this afternoon after an appointment, and I keep my sunglasses in a little case and everything. Kind of, they're tucked away. They're not like just sitting on the dashboard.
Right.
But I pulled them out and stuck them on, and
you're like
burning my face.
Yeah.
And like I think I'm actually like I think when I take them off, there's going to be a mark.
A mark.
Where
yeah,
I put
burn mark.
I think
and
I'm
then your
burning my
steering
face.
wheel
I can smell what smells like bacon.
Oh,
and I think that's
not
my
good.
face.
Not good.
Evidently, my face when you cook it tastes
Smells like bacon. Tastes like
bacon.
That's
delicious.
I assume so. If it smells like it, it must taste
I
like
don't
it.
know.
Right, well.
I don't know. I was gonna say.
Lick my face.
No, I'm good.
Well, that's the only way we'll know. Marco, lick my face.
Marco can do it. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm good. Marco.
Again?
You started
different part of the face.
Oh, good God! You started this episode by drinking the most lagered lager ever.
No,
I'm pulling that.
Not ever, but it was lagered.
I'm pulling that from Christine. She made the statement, the most lageriest lager,
Hi,
I believe. Hi,
Christine.
Christine. So glad to
Hi, Christine.
constantly see you in the chats. Yeah, so this lager was better than you thought it was going to be. A lot better than you thought it was going to be.
It wasn't like the best beer I've ever had in my life, but it was pretty freaking good.
Considering how old it was,
it did taste a little bit oxidized, but
however,
surprisingly, like a lot of like those floral kind of hop notes were still hanging in there. Like it was
awesome.
It was pretty good.
That's fantastic.
I was impressed.
Something that you weren't as impressed with was your lighting system. You were fighting that light.
I fixed it, I think, after the show.
For most of the show, you were side-eyeing it quite often. But we did have the return of the magnetic light, which I think is Marco and I's favorite light.
We love
out of
that.
all of the lights that you have.
This light.
Here we go. Boom. I remember when you showed
yeah.
me that it was magnetic, like I didn't know what to do.
And
with
then it was magnetic.
insane.
Love them.
They're fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. You talked a bit about flowery versus flowery cardboard when it comes to the taste of this particular lager, and just kind of lagers in general, or older beers in general, if I can get the words to actually happen properly, which kind of went down, I don't even want to call it a rabbit hole, but pranking podcasters with old mystery beers.
I don't know that it's a prank. It's a
experiment?
It's a show topic.
Okay.
It's an advertised, I agree with you, show topic. It's advertised show topic. And there's very few people who have the ammunition to be able to pull this off.
Absolutely.
And as time goes on, they're fewer and fewer. And so
sure.
You are doing the Lord's work.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. Which kind of led to another talk, reminiscing about older beers and beers from, days gone by. Rivertown's Death. Oh, my heart. I love that beer so much.
Yeah.
And that held up for...
Yeah, it was great.
Quite a while. Yeah, you brought that on the Columbus trip, and it was... When you pulled the bottle, I'm like, oh my God. I was so excited. And Josh is just rolling his eyes like, oh, good Lord, what are you doing? I love that beer. It's wonderful. You moved on to talking about 50 West Deerfield.
Yes.
And how it is not on Route 50.
It's not.
Instead, it's
not
on...
even really close.
It's on District Park Drive, which is, I checked the website.
You checked the website?
14 miles from the closest spot that Route 50
It's not even District Park West. It's just District
Park Drive. Right. There's no 50. There's no West. Where is their identity going?
Burgers. Burgers and volleyball.
Yeah, burgers and volleyball.
I will say there was a quote that may or may not have been part of this episode. We'll see if someone can identify where this quote came from. Who said this quote?
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Okay, so there's another quote that we have. 50 West is perfect, but it's not what I wanted 50 West to be.
Okay, all right.
Very, very profound, very distinct. And I think that...
Did Arnold Schwarzenegger also say that quote? Because Arnold Schwarzenegger said, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Right, exactly.
50 West is perfect, but it's not what I wanted 50 West to be.
It's like Arnold's in the room.
It's not a tumor.
Are you Sarah Connor?
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
That's what
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Oh my goodness. Get
to the chopper!
Get to the chopper!
So to go back to 50 West, which is not on 50 West in any way, shape, or form in Deerfield, I do agree that some of their...
Get to the pickleball court!
Get to the yellow bus. No, not yellow. It's like an orange and white.
Yeah.
It's a creamsicle bus.
I forgot the new one's name. It has a name. Can't remember.
Mark! Get to the pickleball court!
I do think that some of the 50 West story is a little bit lost with the new location. Because a lot of it was
a different story.
But it is a different story, right? They just took a slight detour off of 50 West to use the bathroom, and they got lost and ended up in Deerfield Township. So they're like, we'll just kind of park here for a while. Brewery kitchen violations. Is it as big of an issue as local media has decided to make it out to be?
What do you think? I assume you read the article, right?
I read the article. I feel like almost any restaurant, any place that serves food is going to have some type of violation.
Hello!
It doesn't, to me, that doesn't necessarily dictate the constant state of that location, of that space.
Sure.
But when the inspector showed up, which they're not going to tell you, hey, by the way, we're coming in a week, to give you time to do whatever. They just show up.
They don't the first time. They do on the follow-up.
Okay.
What I thought was the most interesting about it, that if you didn't kind of pay close attention or then do a little extra research,
which how many people are, right?
He came up with a number of violations for several places. And he said, this year, these places have received this number of violations. When some of those violations were the same thing.
Right.
And I don't understand how you're supposed to count it that way.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Again, it all goes back to the whole, depending on who's telling the story, like the numbers they're giving you might not be completely accurate.
I saw a great example somebody put online of a place that they knew of where there was salt or something like that sitting in a container and it wasn't labeled. And they said this has to be labeled, so the chef very quickly labeled it cocaine.
Yeah,
and they said, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
it has a label on
it's
it.
labeled.
Yeah.
Wow.
The point is, I mean, nobody wants to be out of compliance.
Sure.
And if there are temperatures and things of that nature that are out of compliance and it becomes apparent to said operator, you immediately dump and correct. And what happens is in the health inspection, it says immediately corrected. However,
that's still counted when some people
Right,
write articles about it as a violation.
it
Right,
still
right, exactly,
counts
right.
as a violation,
Hey, we see
even though
this.
it was immediately corrected.
Right.
And so I just want people to understand
There's a big gray space there, I feel like.
there's a lot of things that are on the let's say checklist that can be taken care of extremely quickly. I don't know what to say.
My biggest question that I have about all of this, and I'm curious what you guys think about it, is why was this article written?
Right.
The whole idea is very, very strange to me. It wasn't like, here are the places in the city that you can go to that have the worst kitchen sanitization practices. You need to know this. You need to see what's happening in there.
It felt like someone needed
it's like
to like fill their article quota or whatever, and like let's find something to write about. And then,
No,
I don't
why
know.
would it be about? I mean,
Brewery
it's
specific.
yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
it was a very strange choice of things. Like
I agree.
It was worded as are breweries capable of running kitchens? It's a
it
very
was weird.
very
It was
strange
weird.
path to go down.
What's all
Sometimes it's just sometimes it's really stupid things that you're not really going to care about as a consumer. Like a dishwasher that's off by 5 degrees from where it's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, oh my God.
Come on, you can
Shit. But anyway,
Yeah.
all right.
Last note I had Cincy Beer Week. Go to the website, cincybeerweek.com. We talked about it a bit at the beginning of the episode. Sign up for the newsletter. And if you are a woman in the brewing industry, that could be a bartender, that could be a brewer, that could be someone in one of the labs for the breweries, and you would like to be on this panel that is going to be at Woodburn Brewing, October 7th, 7 to 9 p.m., please reach out to me, truthbeerpod@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can fit you in, and it'll be fantastic.
We'd love
Heck
it.
yeah.
Yes. With that being said, we're already a little bit over time. I said I didn't want to edit a 2-hour episode, and we're at an hour and 56 minutes.
Hell yes!
So it's
under.
under. Hell yeah. All right. With that being said, if you like what we did tonight, do all the things you know you should do. Like, subscribe, follow, review, share. I don't know. Buy some dicks. Who knows? Go to our website.
Eat a dick.
Eat a bag of dicks. Not
whole
just
bag.
a single
Yeah.
one.
Eat a whole
Eat a
bag.
whole bag. Go to our website, truthbeerpod.com, for links to absolutely everything from our email address to buying Dick's potato chips to becoming a Patreon subscriber where you get unedited episodes every single week. I try to get them out a day early to you as well. The silences are cut out for when we take breaks. Other than that, you get the entire mess that is our show that we love so incredibly much. With that being said, Marco and Gnome, what are you guys going to be doing next Tuesday?
I think I'm here.
I have no idea.
Well,
Cheers,
we will
guys.
see you
Cheers,
guys
everyone.
soon. Cheers.